Hello everybody and welcome. This is HackerFrogs After School Extra Credit and I am the Shy Hack. If you're here to take a look at Linux, then you are in the right place. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit outside of what we usually do in our workshops. We're not necessarily doing workshops today, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at different Linux training platforms. So let's take a look over here. Let me change my title and all right. Okay, so to everybody here, we've been covering Linux for the last 4 weeks or so, and now what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at some different Linux training platforms. Over on the Reddit, over at reddit.com, our HackerFrogs. I'll just leave this link in the chat for everybody. I recently created this post over here talking about the different, a lot of different links that we can look at for additional Linux training. So today we're going to be taking a look at a few of these different platforms and weigh their strengths and weaknesses. So something that I wanted to take a look at in particular is over at HackTheBox Academy. HackTheBox Academy is a platform that I've been using for a while now. It's been around for a couple of years, and there are some good things and bad things about HackTheBox Academy. There are some people that swear by it, but if you were to take a look at this particular link over here, they have a course for teaching. It's what they call a module. And they teach Linux fundamentals, and it's actually a very well done module. If you were to go through it, it's going to take you several hours to go through. We're going to pull it up right now. So this is the HackTheBox Academy. The HackTheBox Academy dashboard over here, and from here you can access all the different modules, all the different courses that they offer. So if you were to go over, I don't have my mouse highlighter on. Let me turn that on. Okay. So this is better. All right. So if you were to take a look over here on the side, there's this panel over here, and from here you can click on modules. And after you click on modules, you can click on all modules. And then you're going to be able to search for different modules inside of the HackTheBox Academy platform. So to everybody who's wondering if this is free or not, there are a lot of free modules available, but the way it works is a little bit is not super easy to understand. First of all, everything that is listed as tier 0 over here, so you can filter your search results over here by different criteria. They have different tiers of modules, which basically means how expensive they are. So everything at tier 0 is basically free. So if we were to search by tier 0, you would see that they have a bunch of different modules over here that in this tier. So they've got stuff like learning process, intro to academy. This one right here, which we're particularly interested in, which is called Linux fundamentals. And then they've got a lot of other really interesting and helpful modules for education inside of the IT space as well. So there's this one on the web app vulnerability file inclusion. They talk all about file transfers over here, and then they talk about buffer overflows over here, and they also have this interesting course on intro to networking, and this one on web requests. So for people who are interested in getting into pen testing, either network pen testing or web app pen testing, these two are some other very good modules to look at if you're looking to break into that field. So this one over here, Intro to Networking, and this one over here, Web Requests. But there's a lot of other very useful modules here. This one over here, Windows Fundamentals. So a lot of us use Windows as our day-to-day operating system, but there's a lot of things about Windows that the average user doesn't know, and there's a lot of good stuff inside of this module as well. But let's not get bogged down in all of the good offerings over on the Hack the Box Academy website. Let's take a look at what we were meant to look at over here, which is Linux Fundamentals. So I'll click on this one over here. So this is Linux Fundamentals. Over here it says that it's going to take roughly 6 hours to complete. That sounds about right if you're working through all of the materials that are listed inside of this course. So from here, after you get in, it's probably going to ask you to unlock this module with with cubes. So cubes are the currency that you use to purchase modules inside of Hack the Box Academy. The interesting thing is that they have kind of a rebate system where if you purchase a module and then you complete it, then you're going to be refunded some of the cubes that you used to purchase it. So for these tier 0, basically free modules, you're going to get all of your cubes back if you're able to complete the module. So let's take a look inside the module here. So we're going to click on View. And then it starts here from the very beginning. They've got Linux structure. It talks about the history of the Linux kernel over here. Each one of these sections has a lot of good information here. They've got the philosophy behind the Linux operating system. And they talk about the different parts of the operating system over here. And then they briefly touch on the file system hierarchy, which is basically how the file system is laid out inside of Linux. So all this stuff is very good information for people who are looking to up their Linux game. So after each one of these sections, after you've read through each one of these sections, you can click on this button over here, mark complete and next, which is going to send you to the next section. So here they talk about Linux distributions. Distributions are different flavors of Linux. So Linux comes in a lot of different varieties because Linux is open source and you're able to modify your version of Linux and basically call it your own. So they talk about all of the popular versions of Linux over here. But I won't go through too much of this, but needless to say that the table of contents, the structure of the course is over here on the right-hand side, and there are quite a few different sections to work through. I was able to work through it through the entire course last night, but of course there's a lot of stuff I skipped because I already knew most of the content that was being presented there. So what I want to demonstrate is how you interact with the interactive sections of the course. So they start talking about a shell, and they talk about terminal emulators. At some point, they want you to start typing and and executing commands on the terminal, and that's going to require you to access their virtual machines. So when you are prompted to access a virtual machine, you're going to be able to spin one up. By spin one up, I mean initialize one. Unfortunately, I have already, since I'm a new user, I've already used up my instance today. But the thing is that each day you log into HackTheBox Academy, they're going to give you about 3 hours of access on their virtual machine, and you're going to be able to create it, and for that time you're going to be able to access it. It's unfortunate that that I wasn't able to. What I tried to do was I tried to create a new account to show you what the virtual machine is like when you access it. But unfortunately, there's something wrong with the registration system over at HackTheBox, so I wasn't able to register a new account today. But needless to say, that if you spend some time over at HackTheBox Academy, you can definitely get a lot of good information out of this module over here called Linux Fundamentals. All right, so let's move on to the next Linux education platform. So we were just talking about Linux Fundamentals over here. Next, we're going to talk about Offensive Securities Linux training over here, which is called Pen 103 Kali Linux Reinvented. So, Offensive Security is a very old cybersecurity company. Not old as in well established, not as a pejorative. I never besmirch the offensive security name. But you guys can access this course from over here. I'm going to leave a link in chat. So let me show you what this page looks like. So this is a free course, which is kind of rare for offensive security. Usually, offensive security is all about monetizing their courses, but this is a rare course that is free, and I really appreciate that. But what does this course contain? It's called Kali Linux Reinvented. So what this course does is it teaches you about Kali Linux, which is the very popular cybersecurity focused distribution of Linux. So what does it say? It says this course covers everything you need to know to be able to be effectively use and deploy Kali Linux. The course will discuss basic Linux usage for beginners, Debian package management and usage, Kali installation configuration, security, and advanced Kali usage, including how Kali fits within the enterprise and Kali's role in various phases of a security assessment. Okay, so it talks about, there's some course information over here. We can skip over it. So normally it says it's only available with an annual subscription, but if we scroll all the way to the bottom over here, it says that you can access this course for free. It says by signing up for PG Play, students get free access to Pen 103, and when the time comes, they can purchase a KLCP exam attempt. So I guess what they're trying to do here is they're trying to rope you in with this, and then when you want to take the exam, then they're going to be able to charge for that. So you can follow this link over here, get started for free, and when you click on that, it's going to send you over to this page over here, and then you can click on the register button. Okay, so I'm going to assume that I'm going to assume that you've managed to create an account because I'm going to show you the contents of the course. So the course over here is made up of a bunch of different learning modules. For example, there's one called Linux Fundamentals, Introduction, About Kali Linux, Getting Started, Installing, Configuring, all the way over to here, Kali Linux in the Enterprise, Introduction to Security Assessments, and then conclusion, the road ahead. But what we're looking for is we're looking for our Linux training over here. So we can go over to the first module, which is called Linux Fundamentals. So we can click on that, and in this section you can read through the section, and it tells you a lot about Linux, and talking about common commands and processes, jobs, all sorts of stuff. All right, and then so it talks about the intro to Linux over here, and then in the next section, which is called Introduction, so it starts talking about the course. So it starts talking about, I guess we're talking about, I'm not sure who's talking here, but it's somebody talking about getting into cybersecurity. So this appears to be the history of Kali Linux. So let's go. It talks about what the course entails, who the course is geared towards, if this course is right for you, and then some words from what I assume are people who work over at offensive security. And the next section over here is talking about how Kali Linux is different from other Linux distributions. But if you're interested in taking the course, I've supplied the links over in the Reddit thread over here, and I'll link to the Reddit thread one more time just in case you need to reference that. Okay, so let's take a look at our next Linux education platform. And that is going to be Codecademy. So Codecademy is one of my favorite places to learn about new technologies, new programming languages, and new concepts. Let's go over to codecademy.com. So codecademy.com has a lot of resources and courses. Let me provide the link for you over here. But signing up for Codecademy is completely free, and as you can see over here, there are a lot of free courses that you can take over here as well. So if you're to search for Bash, which is basically the terminal that you use inside of Linux, you can see that there are a bunch of free courses over here. So you can tell which courses are free because at the when you look them up, it's going to say free course over here at the top in the header. Otherwise, it's just going to say course or something else. So you've got some very short courses over here. Such as this one, Learn the Command Line, Viewing and Changing the File System. There's quite a few of them which are free. Let's go over to the Reddit thread over here. So you've got learn the command line, viewing and changing the file system, learn the command line, configuring the environment, redirecting input and output. We've got intro to the command line, introduction to Linux bash scripting, which is a slightly more advanced topic, but eventually it's going to be something that you guys can tackle. And there's going to be introduction to Linux users and permissions, and so most of these are relatively short courses, about an hour each, but taken together they make up a pretty good overview of Linux. Let's take a look at one of these courses. So learning the command line, viewing and changing the file system. We can probably view this as an introductory course. So let's click on this one. And we can see here that it says learn how to manage file systems and manipulate directories from the command line. So we can click on start. And I really like the way that the layout of Codecademy courses. They usually have the educational text over here on the left-hand side, and then they have an interactive. They usually have an interactive terminal or an editing window on the right-hand side. So over here, you can see that we have a fully functional Linux terminal. If we take a look over here, we've got a bunch of directories and files, and over here, this is where we're going to be doing the tasks that the course is going to ask of us. So, for example, we've got instructions over here. It says over here, the exercise in this section, use the check work button with the terminal to move through the instructions, perform the task, and then click on the check work button. So, what does it want us to do? So make sure to click the check work button once you've completed each checkpoint. So we're going to click on check work over here once. Did you run the command pwd to confirm you are in the path, this path right here? Okay. Okay, so this was the instruction over here. So we need to use pwd to check which directory we're in. So we're going to dismiss this message, and then pwd to check our directory. We are in this directory right here. Okay, this is what they wanted us to do. And then we click on check work. And then we're able to go on to step number 2. So step number 2, type the following command into the terminal, ls. So ls, and then it gives us the list of different directory contents. Okay, and after that we can click on check work again. Okay, cool, awesome. All right, so each time you come to the end of the instructions over here, you can click over to the next page, basically. So you see here, we see 1 out of 10. The course will be done by the time we finish the 10th page. So we can click on this next button over here. And this talks about the ls command. Okay, so this was an example of how courses work over at Codecademy, and in particular, they have a bunch of courses that cover Linux. So that's what I wanted to highlight over here, and we're slowly working our way through our Linux education sources over here. Okay, so next, let's take a look at. So there are quite a few free video courses over on YouTube as well. So I don't have sound on this virtual machine that I'm working at over here, but we should be able to take a look at the visual elements of these courses. So over here, we've got 3 different video courses about Linux. We've got Introduction to Linux from freecodecamp.org, which is this link right here. So as you can see, we've got a 6-hour-long course over here that is fully narrated, and we're talking about all sorts of commands, and it should be fairly exhaustive as far as the quality of information that is given over here. So that's freecodecamp's YouTube channel over here. As well, we have another course from Network Chuck. I don't know if anybody here watches Network Chuck or not, but he has a lot of different videos, and it's quite a popular channel. And he usually talks about computer networking and cybersecurity. So this is a 10 video long playlist over here. So it talks a lot about different commands and different concepts. So talking about sudo, and talking about package management, talking about services. This is another great little course as well. Let's look at our final YouTube course over here. This one is from HackerSploit, which is another popular cybersecurity channel. And this is a 4-hour and 41-minute video over here. So this is the entire course. And I suspect this one is also fully narrated. So if you wanted to sit down and turn on any of these courses from these channels like Network Chuck or HackerSploit, then you could probably up your Linux game by going through the video courses that way. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's try solving some challenges, because I feel kind of I don't feel right unless I'm demonstrating how to solve challenges on my live streams. So let's go over to picoctf. Oh, before we move on to that, let me tell you about an upcoming CTF competition coming up. So this one is from this is the US Cyber Games CTF. And this is a CTF competition where you're able during the contest period, you're able to solve challenges, and at the end of the competition, they're going to give away some prizes to the people who have the most amount of points from the challenges that they solved. So this competition is running from May 30th to June 9th, 2024. So that is 9 days. Math is not my strong suit. So it says 11 days of fun. Well, I guess it's 11 days then. But it's running for quite a long period of time. So most of the time, CTF competitions usually run for a weekend. Sometimes they only run for 1 day. But this competition here, it runs for about 11 days. And what I'm hoping is that the difficulty of the challenges and the variety of the challenges is similar to picoctf. So picoctf is the regular platform that we use. We usually use the picoctf gem to solve challenges. And as you can see in the picoctf gem, you can look up any challenges that you want to according to category, such as web exploitation, cryptography, reverse engineering, forensics, general skills, binary exploitation, etc. And these competitions are a great way to test your skills as far as using Linux, or as far as solving web exploitation challenges or cryptography, binary exploitation challenges, etc. I'm not sure how many people here have experience with that, but there are also some general in PicoCTF, for example. There are a bunch of general challenges that basically test your ability to use Linux, and if you're able to use Linux to a passable degree, you're able to solve these challenges. For example, let's see. We've got this one challenge over here, obedient cat. It says over here that this file has a flag in plain sight, aka in the clear, and this is an example of what is called a sanity check challenge. So CTF events usually have what are called sanity check challenges, which are usually very easy challenges that let people solve them easily, and basically to give them a confidence boost. So in this challenge over here, we're supposed to get a flag, and a flag is a secret string that we can submit to the challenge in this field over here, or whatever field they have, and that's how you solve the challenge. So if we were to click on this download button over here, then there's going to be this flag file over here, and what we could do is we could open it up with Notepad. So we could right click this and we could open it with Notepad, and inside of here is the flag. So basically the point of these CTF exercises is to capture the flag, which is what it says on the tin, and then copy the flag and then submit the flag as the answer for the challenge. So for example, if I were to go back to PicoCTF, I could submit this flag and it says I successfully solved this challenge. So that's what I'm hoping. These kind of challenges over here range from very, very easy, and they become progressively more difficult. I'm hoping that's what the competition is going to look at over at this CTF event over here, which is US Cyber Games. This is not a collaborative. It's not a collaborative event. So US Cyber Games basically doesn't allow people to collaborate as far as solving the challenges, but it's good to get a group of people to all compete in the CTF challenges together. Even if you can't really collaborate, it's more fun knowing that you have other friends who are all competing in the competition together. And after the event is over, you can exchange notes, and you can talk about the challenges that you solved and how you solved them, and hopefully you can learn something. So the great thing about CTF events is that you're usually doing a lot of research to solve tricky challenges, and you're doing a lot of learning in the process. So if anybody is free during May 30th to June 9th, and it's certainly a lot of time. It's a lot of time to be able to look at the challenges and just try to solve them. I certainly hope that if you that you can make some time to try to participate in this game over here. I'll probably be recruiting to see if we can get a group of people together to try to enter the competition, and then we can all keep each other motivated by all participating in the same event. Okay, so what was I doing? Okay, yeah, let's solve some challenges. All right, so we're talking about, we need to start solving some. Does anybody here know how to use Python? Because they have a bunch of challenges inside of PicoCTF that are all about solving Python challenges. But if not, they have, let's see, general challenges. Okay, so let's try this challenge over here. It's called Let's Warm Up. Okay, so let's warm up. If I told you a word started with 0x70 in hexadecimal, what would it start with in ASCII? Okay, so this is talking about this is talking about character encoding. So we've talked about, I think we've talked about this before, but when we talk about ASCII encoding, and ASCII encoding is a very old character encoding standard that was that basically goes back to the beginning of personal computing. So ASCII table. So basically, these are all the printable characters on your standard keyboard. These ones over here in the red, and they have a bunch of numerical codes associated with them. So, for example, we've got this character over here, which is the letter capital A. So, in decimal, it's going to be known as character 65. In hexadecimal, it's known as hex character 41. And in octal, which is a base 8 counting system, is going to be known as octal 101. But these are all different ways of saying the A character over here. So if we take a look at the PicoCTF challenge, if I told you a word started with 0x70 in hexadecimal, what would it start with in ASCII? Okay, so 0x70 is a hexadecimal number, but what is the equivalent in ASCII? That's the question. So let's try to solve this one. Okay, so there are websites which can translate different codes to ASCII characters. So for example, if we were to search for something called hexadecimal to ASCII, hexadecimal to text. Okay, so basically we can inside of this. I'll provide this link in the chat. So if you were to supply a hexadecimal number and then you click on the convert button over here, then it's going to convert the hexadecimal number into the ASCII character that it's associated with. So we can go back to PicoCTF and we can copy this 0x70. So hex 70 basically. We can go and paste this in, and then we can convert this. Okay, let's get rid of this prefix over here. So it's hex 70, hexadecimal to text. It would convert it. It's going to be the small letter P over here. All right, so for the challenge over here, each one of these challenges also might have a number of hints, anywhere from 1 to maybe 6. It says we can click on the hints and it's going to give us a hint as to how to solve the challenge. So it says here, submit your answer in our flag format. For example, if your answer was hello, you would submit PicoCTF hello in curly braces as the flag. Okay, so in this case, we have to do PicoCTF, and then we have to use the curly braces, and we have to put the letter P inside because that was the answer that we got. So we put P inside of the PicoCTF flag wrapper over here. So this is when we're talking about CTF exercises, this is a flag, and this one, CTF competitions usually have flags in a very specific format. For picoctf, the prefix for the flag is going to be this right over here. So it's going to be pico and then capital letters CTF. And then the actual contents of the flag are going to be encased in these curly brackets right here. So this one over here, capital small letter P. We're going to submit this as the answer. Click on Submit Flag, and we've solved the challenge. Okay, so let's solve another one. Okay, so it says warmed up. This is the next challenge over here. So this is the warmed up challenge. Okay, and the description for this challenge asks, what is 0x3 capital D base 16 in decimal base 10? Okay, so what we're doing is we're converting one type of from one type of number into another type of number. So decimal is base 10. That is the type of number that everybody is familiar with. So it goes from it uses 10 characters in its counting base, and we're converting from a number in base 16, which is hexadecimal. So for anybody who doesn't know, does anybody here know hexadecimal? If you don't know about hexadecimal, we could always ask your good friend ChatGPT, explain hexadecimal numbers. So hexadecimal numbers are a base 16 counting system. It's used a lot in computing because it maps to bytes very easily, and bytes are bytes or binary numbers. So the characters that hexadecimal counting uses is 0 to 9, which is the same as our regular decimal counting system, and then A to F, which represents the values 10 to 15, where A equals 10, B equals 11, C equals 12, D equals 13, E equals 14, F equals 15. So F is the last character in hexadecimal before hex 10, which represents 16. So if we were to take a look at let me grab a terminal somewhere. So let's just grab JS Linux. And I'm going to make this a little bigger. Okay, I'm going to jump into a terminal editor. So what we're talking about counting in hexadecimal. Okay, so hexadecimal counts the same way that you might count in decimal, all the way up until 9. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then after 9 is A, then B, then C, then D, then E, then F. So this is from 1 until 15. So as soon as 16 comes around, then it's going to become it's going to become 10. So 10 is 16 in hexadecimal. So it's going to be, and then it's going to be 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. One 5, 1 6. Okay, so after we get to 1 9, it goes from 1 9 to 1A. So what are we counting here? So this goes all the way up until 15. So F is 15. This 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and this is 26. Okay, so let's go back to the question. So the question is, what is hexadecimal 3D in base 16 in decimal base 10? Okay, so if we see 3 here, we know that that's going to be 3 times 16, because each one of these is equal to. So in the second column, if each one is equal to 16, and D, if you remember, is going to be, let's see. So if 10 is A, let me take a look. So 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's going to be 13 plus 16 times 3. So 16 times 3 is 36. 36, no, it's 148. 48 plus 13. So 48 plus 13. This looks very messy. So 48 plus 13 is equal to 51, 61. So that's going to be the answer. But if you were to, so equals, I'm going to say equals 61. But if you wanted to do this, if you wanted to do this conversion in a more computerized way, you can try this. So it's going to be hexadecimal, whoops, hexadecimal to decimal. So this is another rapid tables. Oh, it wants me to confirm that I'm not a robot. Okay, so I'm going to leave this in the chat in case you want to take a look. So this is hexadecimal to decimal. So if the hexadecimal number is 3D to decimal, we click on convert, and it says 61. Is that what I got? I got 61 as well. Awesome, I can do math. Okay, so that is going to be the answer for this particular CTF challenge. What is 0x3D, hex 3D in decimal? It's going to be 61. So just like the last time, we have to wrap it in the flag. We have to put the flag wrapper around our answer over here. So it's going to be picoctf, and then inside of the curly brackets, we're going to put 61. So that's the answer, and then we click on submit flag, and that is the answer for that challenge. Okay, so let's solve one more challenge before we call it a day today. All right, so let's go over to this question over here, which is called too warm. Okay, so this is another conversion question over here. It says, can you convert the number 42 in base 10, so that's regular numbers, and we have to convert it to binary, which is base 2. So binary numbers are all zeros and ones, and binary numbers are basically the what is it called? The foundation of computers, because computers only talk in zeros and ones. So let's take a look at binary counting. So if we were talking about hexadecimal counting before, we're talking about binary counting now. And remember that that binary is all about zeros and ones. So it's 0. If we're counting in binary, it's 0 and then 1, and then the number 2 is 1 0. So the number 2 is 1 0, and the number 3 is 1 1. And then the number 4 is 2 0. So this it might seem a little bit confusing, but we go from 0 to 1 to 2. And remember, 2 is the maximum number we have in the system. So we're always shifting over to the next to an extra digit when we have to roll over like this. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 would be 2, 1. And then 6 would be 3, 0. No? No. It's not. It wouldn't be 3, 0. It would be. Oh, what would it be? Okay. So anyways, I don't work inside of binary, but what I do is I make use of different websites that are able to do the math for me. Okay, so if we were to go to in fact, it wouldn't be this wouldn't okay. I'm sorry. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, and then it would be I think this would be 4. Let me double check that. Let's see. Use count from 0 to 10 in binary for me. Okay, so this is 0. I guess they want to pad this out. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So if we were to make use of an app, we could do binary to actually decimal to binary. Decimal to binary computer. Okay. So here we can easily go from decimal to binary. We just have to input a regular old decimal number. So let's go back to the challenge. So can you convert the number 42 in base 10 to binary base 2? So this is 42, and so this handy web app right here, I'm going to paste it in chat so you can make use of it if you like. Okay, so you got 42 in base 10. Let's convert it over to binary number, the binary number equivalent. So this is going to be, it's going to be 101010. Oh, it's 101010. Okay. All right. So this is going to be our answer. So we can copy this, and then we can go over to the PicoCTF challenge page. Okay, this is too warm, and this is our answer, but of course we have to wrap it up in our curly brackets, and then we have to put our PicoCTF flag prefix at the beginning. So it's going to be PicoCTF and then this, and that is what we're going to use as our answer. So submit flag, and hooray, you earned a number of points. Okay, so let's do one more challenge just to round things off. Okay, so we haven't talked very much about cryptography in our HackerFrogs lessons before, but we're going to be going over an easy challenge over here just to introduce some concepts. So of course, cryptography is talking about hidden messages, and we all everybody loves the thought of solving puzzles. In this case, we're talking about cryptography, which is all about figuring out what the system is that they use to create the hidden message and to crack it. Well, sorry, not crack it, but to decipher it. Okay, so this is a challenge over here called Mod 26. It says over here that cryptography can be easy. Do you know what ROT13 is? So to anybody who doesn't know, ROT13, otherwise known as the Caesar cipher, is a letter substitution cipher that they used, that was used all the way in classic antiquity. It's said that that was invented by Julius Caesar, but who knows if that is actually true or not. Okay, so we've got inside the challenge, we're provided with this over here, and this is what would be called ciphertext. So ciphertext is a message that has been which has been encrypted. So this is an encrypted string over here. What we want to do is we want to get the decrypted string in order to submit that as the answer for this challenge right over here. Okay, so cryptography can be easy, but do you know what ROT13 is? So ROT13, well, I'm going to say that if you don't understand something, or if you come across a term that you don't understand, there's absolutely no shame in asking googling something like this, or asking ChatGPT. For some reason, some people think that using ChatGPT is cheating, but in fact, it's about as cheating as Google searching is, but ChatGPT more likely gives you the correct answer more quickly than Google searching. So if we're to ask, what is ROT13? What is ROT13? I think it has something to do with cryptography. Then you would get a summary over here that's talking about what ROT13 is. So ROT13 doesn't mean that something is rotting. It means that something is being rotated. So for example, yes, ROT13 is a simple encryption algorithm that is part of the Caesar cipher family. It stands for rotate by 13 places. So it's talking about rotating each letter by 13 positions in the alphabet. Is shifted 13 places forward. If the shift moves past the end of the alphabet, it wraps around to the beginning. So let's demonstrate this in. So if we've got our letters A, B, C, D, E, F, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Is that 13? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 is M. Okay. So basically this chart right here demonstrates how ROT13 works. Basically, anytime an A appears inside of our original message, which is called the plain text, it's going to be substituted for the letter that is 13 places ahead in the alphabet. So A becomes N. So if you had an A, then you turn into an N. For example, if you had a G inside your message, you would replace it with the letter T. If you have the letter K, then you would replace it with the letter X, etc. Likewise, if you had the letter S and you needed to convert it, you needed to encrypt it, it would become the letter F over here. And that's how ROT13 works. So let's go over. But because ROT13 is very well understood cipher, that there are a lot of websites and web apps that are able to translate able to translate this this type of encryption very easily. So if we were to go over to ROT13 decoder, okay, so let's. So over here, in this app over here, it's called rot13.com. There's a bunch of these on the internet if you're to look for them. What you could do is you could paste in your ciphertext over here, and then you can execute the ROT13 algorithm on it, and then it would translate it out to the unencrypted version over here. So for example, if we were to do this is the HackerFrogs over here, then you see that it's going to encrypt this over here, and that is the encrypted version of this message right here. So let's cut this. So likewise, if we were to paste in this message over here, then when it's rotated by 13 letters, then this message appears right here. Okay, so let's solve the challenge. So going back to the picoctf page over here, this is our ciphertext right here. What we can do is copy it and then go over to this web page right here and paste it in. And this is going to rotate all of these letters by 13 places, and then the flag appears over here. So picoctf, next time I'll try 2 rounds of ROT13. Okay, and this is kind of a joke because 2 rounds of ROT13 is the same as 1 round of ROT13 because it moves around in a circle. So if we were to go from A to N, then N back to A, then that's basically it's basically the same as not encrypting it at all. Okay, so we can copy this and we can use this as the solution to the challenge. So in here, we paste this flag into the flag submission field and click on Submit Flag. And all right, that's finished. Okay, so what did we do today? We took a look at a few different platforms for learning about Linux. We took a look at HackTheBox Academy, which I once again think is a very good platform for learning about Linux and all sorts of other cybersecurity related modules over here. Once again, I'll supply the link to the education resources thread in the Reddit. If you wanted to learn more about that, go ahead and take a look over there. We also took a look at offensive security and their free course, which is called PEN 103, which is talking about Kali Linux. Kali Linux is the famous cybersecurity oriented Linux distribution, which a lot of security researchers and cybersecurity students use to learn about cybersecurity. We also talked about Codecademy, which is a great website for learning about all sorts of different IT topics like different programming languages and frameworks. And we also talked about all of the Linux YouTube courses. We talked about 3 different ones. And then we rounded everything off by solving some picoctf challenges. So everybody, I hope you learned something. You learned something today. We're going to be back on Friday. On Friday, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at solving the beginner challenges over at HackTheBox. So HackTheBox isn't just HackTheBox Academy, but HackTheBox also has its it's educational labs, which is all about compromising intentionally vulnerable virtual machines. Okay, so where's information about that? Back at HackerFrogs at the Reddit. Let's go back home. Hold on. So in our streaming schedule, so today's streaming schedule was a bit different from what we were planning today, but on Friday, what we're going to be doing is HackerFrogs free hacking. We're going to be taking a look at the HackTheBox starting point tier 0 machines, and we're going to be doing some walkthroughs. That is network exploitation. It's not a topic that we've covered at HackerFrogs too much, because it is going to be a future course. But yeah, I hope if you're interested in learning over at the HackTheBox platform, then I highly recommend coming by on Friday. That's going to be a bit later than when we started today. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which means it's going to start at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you can stop by and hang out with us while we do a walkthrough of those easy challenges. Well, I wouldn't say that they're easy challenges. They're easy for people who know about this stuff. But if you're a beginner, you don't know anything until you've been taught it. So that's what I'm going to try to do. It's going to be a pretty chill atmosphere that night. We're just going to be doing some hacking on a Friday night. All right, so thank you very much to everybody who came by today, to all the lurkers and to all the people who participated in chat. We'll be back on Friday, but until then, have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time.